brought to you by our friends of the British Council. Hey everybody, welcome back to Rugby Wrap-Up. Matt McCarthy at the Fantasy Sports Network, Studio 34 in New York City with Mr. Steve Lewis and Mr. Martin Pengelly. And we're here to talk about the Six Nations on this side of the pond. America's Six Nations, gentlemen. America's Six Nations. The ARCs, the Americas Rugby Championship. Stephen, what have you for us?
Okay, 3 games this weekend. We start with our Eagles. They were in LA at the StubHub Center playing in Argentina 15. This particular fixture has resulted in ties before, so this is the first time there's been a result. Eagles finishing up 17-10 ahead on a sort of fairly important last-minute defensive play by blindside flanker Hanko, holding up the Argentinian, making him knock on. So for the Eagles to get off to a win as a start is great. Start the Gary Gold era. Confidence. National teams are all confidence momentum, so this gives them a bit of breathing space, and they go in to play Canada this weekend. For Canada, not such a good weekend. Lost down to Uruguay in the second leg of their World Cup qualifier. So this is an unfortunate result for Canadian rugby. There's going to have to be a bit of self-examination, look in the mirror. They now go on to the Repechage next October, November, where they will probably Repechage, that's Connery. Yes. They will probably play the winner of some games this weekend. Essentially, they're probably going to be playing Spain or Russia, with Romania getting the top nod there already. So obviously, Uruguay, they're on a little bit of a upswing right now. So well done there. They've been working hard for a while. And then the third and final game of the weekend.
Is it Los Teros?
That's Los Teros, yep. Yes. The third and final game of the weekend was Brazil beating Los Condores, Chile in Chile, which is a great result for Brazil away from home. So as far as that competition goes, Eagles in pole position now. Uruguay probably looking like their toughest contest to come. Argentina have rung the changes this weekend. One has to be fair to Argentina. They got Jaguares playing. They got a lot of foreign players. This is probably their.
They have just to make sure we're not confusing things. They have Jaguars in the squad, but it's not the Jaguars for the folks at home.
Right. They're playing warm-up games for Super Rugby, so they have got a lot of players committed elsewhere, is what I'm saying. It doesn't detract from the Eagles' performance. Argentinian opposition's always tough, so it's well done, Eagles, but we've got to be realistic about who we're playing.
Martin, we call the United States the sleeping giant, but Brazil's a pretty big country, and there's some money being pumped in there in the rugby program. Are they the sleeping giant?
I'd like to call myself an expert because I went to Brazil on a rugby press trip 2 years ago for 2 days. So I know a lot about Brazilian rugby.
How many days?
2.
2 days and 4 nights. That's what happens in Brazil.
It was 2 days.
I've had a trip like that before.
Yeah, it was 2 days and no nights. It was pretty much no sleep. They're trying hard. I wonder how much of the momentum they had was to do with hosting the Olympics and having to play, because they're not going to qualify. You would assume for the Olympics anytime soon. I think there's. I've met a few of the Brazilian administrators, a few of the players. There's some ambition. There's some money. There's some drive. They're certainly improving. But in this Six Nations tournament, it's interesting that there's Brazil and Chile should be the bottom 2, just on strength of rugby in those countries. Canada are of all sorts of problems at the moment. They've fallen away. Uruguay I'm fascinated by. I think they are an order above what Brazil are, and with the same kind of drive and the same kind of concentration.
Predictions for the weekend.
This weekend, I will take the Eagles over Canada. Then moving to the southernmost international to be held at the Agustín Pichot Stadium in Ushuaia, near Punta Arenas, near the Tierra del Fuego. I am taking Argentina over Chile. And then the final game, I'm going to go for Los Teros, Uruguay, over our Brazilian cousins.
All right, we're going to have to bleep that foul language that he was using. But Mr. Birthday Boy, Mr. Pengelly?
USA over Canada, Argentina over Chile, Uruguay over Brazil. Can I tell you a story about Patagonia quickly?
Absolutely.
I might get fact-checked, and if someone fact-checks me and it's not true, then that'd be great. But 2005, I think, Gareth Jenkins took over as coach of Wales and said, he's from Llanelli, Welsh-speaking town, we're going to do our line-out calls, our back calls in Welsh, because it's an advantage we have over the world of rugby. No one anywhere will know what our calls are. Never mind that his team was mostly not Welsh speakers and there were some Australians in it, like Brent Cobain. He said that. Brains trust. First game he played, in charge, Puerto Madryn, Patagonia, the only other place in the world where the locals speak Welsh.
Good story.
I like that story. If someone wants to fact check me and prove me I'm wrong, fine. But that's the story.
I'm going to verify that story, just doubling down, and I have no idea whether it's true or not. But I'm going to double down on you. And on that note, we're going to end this scintillating segment once again with our other side of the Atlantic, Six Nations, the Americas Rugby Championship, with my esteemed colleagues, Mr. Steve Lewis and Mr. Martin Pengelly. Remember, folks, you can catch all of our stuff. You can watch it, or you can download it and listen to it as a podcast. And on behalf of these gentlemen, Matt McCarthy for Rugby Wrap-Up here in New York at the Studio 34, Fantasy Sports Network in New York City, signing off.